Then how can a technology of which AdhereTech has, how can this help with adherence for the patient, but even say for the physicians and the confidence, us as clinicians, as prescribers in helping our patients?
I think there's a lot of things built into some of the digital aspects of AdhereTech that are really beneficial when it comes to ADHD care. Number one is, just those reminders, have you taken your medicine? The bottle starts to light up, it starts to vibrate a little bit. Maybe it makes a wake up chime in the morning to remember you take your medicine. So it's kind of a smooth awakening and a smooth reminder, did you take your medicine? Beyond that, I think what's really interesting is not just reminders to take your medicine, which is important in people that are forgetful or distracted, is we have some compliance checks built in. So we can check and see, are there extra pills in the bottle? Did you actually open the bottle at the time of day you were supposed to be opening the bottle? How many days this month did you open the bottle? And did you take it around when you shouldn't be? And Jerry, I'll use the example. If I have somebody who's supposed to be taking a once daily morning stimulant, and I see AdhereTech sends me a notification that people seem to be opening that bottle at 9 o'clock at night, all of a sudden alarm bells are going to go off in my head as a clinician. Maybe they're taking it once daily where a pill count wouldn't show that. But if the time of day is 8 or 9 o'clock at night instead of 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to have a discussion with my patient about, okay, let's talk about what was going on there. Let's be honest about what was happening. I'm here to help you. And the more I know, the better job I do of helping you. And so I can think of a lot of ways that the notification systems within AdhereTech could be beneficial to a patient, beneficial to a family. As my kid remember to take their medicine? Did I remember to take it? A lot of the families I take care of in children with ADHD, Jerry, a lot of them are in single parent homes. So they spend the weekend with the other parent or the weekend with the grandparents. AdhereTech has a built-in technology that will let me know, did that other parent or the grandparents remember to give their kids the medicines? When they come home on a Sunday, maybe they're disruptive because they had kind of a tough weekend. Maybe they're disruptive because they went a weekend without their medicine.
Then how does this for us as a clinician, as a society, what does technology for AdhereTech do that may not be eliminate diversion, but what can it do to minimize or mitigate and reduce that risk of diversion and misuse?
So once again, I think it's going to help us with daily compliance. And daily compliance means AdhereTech can check and see, do we truly have daily compliance? Do we see the medicine being used on a daily basis? So for example, Jerry, if a kid comes in to see me or a young adult, let's say a 25-year-old comes in to see me, all the pills are gone from the bottle, but I look and realize they only opened it 10 days that month. All of a sudden alarm bells go off. Wait a minute, something's going on that shouldn't be happening. If I take a look at the log and realize that, hey, instead of opening it at 8 or 9 o'clock, they're opening it at 3 in the afternoon or 8 in the evening, I know that something's going on that probably shouldn't be happening. So it gives my patient reminders. It gives us built-in safeguards about looking what's happening. And you and I have been part of a lot of research trials throughout the years where we try all different types of technologies to measure pill count. How many times did you take your pills? Bring in the unused pills. We know there's not good ways to measure compliance with medicines. I love the added advantage here, though, of knowing when the medicine was taken. Not just was it taken on a daily basis, but what time of day was it taken? And I think that's an important part of the message when we're trying to minimize misuse and potential diversion or other things going on with stimulant medicines.
Right. And so it could really assist with the diversion. It does have the technology for an electronic field that can detect, say, when a large or inappropriate amount of the medication withdrawals occurred. For instance, if 20 pills are gone suddenly, you can know that. And maybe that's the potential of that misuse. Here's to my roommate, here's to someone it's gone. And I think that may help us as clinicians feel more comfortable, hopefully as a society, provide the solution such that it could help minimize that diversion and misuse such that the patients who really need it get it. Patients don't need to have to call a pharmacy or drive to another town, because that is not a solution at all.
Jerry, I agree. And part of the reason we have quotas with ADHD medicines is the DEA and the FDA are worried about overuse and misuse and diversion. So I think if we can help to minimize misuse and abuse, if we can help to show the various authorities that we're being very careful to help with compliance, to measure outcomes, to make sure people are using their medicines when they're supposed to, I think that will help to relieve some of the stress on the other side about having to impose those strict quotas on the system.
Now, you also mentioned that we've had other means about measuring adherence, because you do clinical trials as I do. In fact, I'm in my clinical trial office right now. What are some of the limitations of those technologies that or lack thereof of technologies that we use in clinical research trials?
Well, let's do what you and I have done throughout the history.
Yes.
We start out by asking patients, did you take your medicine? And what we know is people want to please their doctor, their clinician, their nurse, whoever they're seeing. So 95% of patients will tell you, Dr. Maguire, I took all my medicines. I was a really good patient. If we do pill counts, we'll see that about 75% of the medicines were taken. If we have a digital technology such as AdhereTech, we more accurately measure even there picking up the gaps in treatment. Because a lot of people, before they come in for a visit, what do, Jerry? They count their pills to make sure they're returning the right number of pills. But if we have a technology to say, hey, was the medicine actually being taken? Was it being taken on a daily basis? Was it being taken at the right time of day on a daily basis? We help to improve outcomes. We keep patients out of harm's way. And I think one of the things we didn't talk about, our patients want to do the right things usually.
They do. Yeah.
This is a technology that encourages them to do the right thing.
Right. And it's more passive because it's a pill bottle and that bottle itself connects right to the cell signal itself. So it's not as if there's extra burden onto our patient, our clinical research subjects, if I use that term, for them to do something extra. Because think about this, Greg. We've seen so many different medications being developed in our field. We have great phase 2 data where we know the clinical sites are strong, where it's good. When we get into phase 3, larger trials, some things don't make it. And we say, wait a minute, it's probably a failed study. It's not a failed medicine. And when we do these trials, we know we have these clinical research monitors, we do this. But frankly, I'm wrong. The greatest variable, especially on outpatient studies, that we don't accurately measure is patient adherence. Did they take the medicine when they're supposed to? Am I correct on that?
I think AdhereTech offers the trifecta. Okay, the trifecta of improving outcomes in research by making sure we know whether or not people have taken their medicine, number one. Number two, I think the second part of the trifecta is improving clinical outcomes for our patients, helping to measure compliance, helping to see if people are taking their medicine, reminding them to take their medicine, and then being able to send reminders to clinicians, hey, your patient's forgetting their medicine. The third part of the trifecta is being able to show that governmental agencies that, listen, we are being diligent about measuring outcomes and making sure people are taking their medicine the way that it's designed to be taken. So we improve outcomes with research by improving compliance. We improve outcomes clinically by giving reminders and letting the clinicians know and the families know that the patients are taking their medicine in the way they're designed to be taken. And we improve outcomes from the regulatory authorities by letting them know that clinicians are accurately measuring what's happening with patients who are taking ADHD treatment.
It's wonderful, Greg. I want to thank you very much for joining. Is there anything else you want to maybe add to that?
Let me just add that we live in a digital world. And the digital world stresses the brain, it stresses the healthcare ecosystem. So I think it's really important that we learn to use the digital world and digital solutions to our advantage to help our patients, and never more important than our patients living with ADHD.
Well, I thank you very much, Dr. Mattingly. I really appreciate your expert insights, not only as a researcher, as a clinician as well. And thank you so very much for joining us today.